Hi everyone, how are you doing? The track and field season, the outdoor track and field season is alive and well. Everything is in full swing. And I've been missing a lot when it comes to track and field for a little bit. There's other stuff I've been putting out on the channel, but it's time for me to come back. And so there's a bunch of national championships in full swing. This is the week for national championships. We have some surprises, some expected performances. And so I want to take the time today in this live show to touch on some of the things that has happened in the last few days, maybe talk about things that might come later on today. And certainly, I want to talk about stuff that's happened so far this season, right? Before we even get into the national championships, there's a lot of stuff happening. I want to thank you for joining me. We'll be talking some track and field today. And some really great performances so far all over. It's an interesting season because it's a long season. Budapest is in 6 weeks, and some athletes are preparing in some smart ways. Others they're struggling with injury, and so they're monitoring the way in which they have to perform. But we've been seeing some good stuff so far this outdoor season. The collegians have obviously Britton Wilson, uh, you know, Jaden Hibbert, all these people. I mean, I don't want to go through all of them now, but we can talk about them if you want. And we've seen some top class performances from them this year. Unlike last year, you recognize that for the collegians, they got a little bit of a break, and that is good for some in terms of the rest, because the World Championships last year was much earlier, and so you got to get back out there. We've seen some fantastic stuff already. I think maybe for me, Faith Kipyegon is the athlete of the year so far. Back-to-back weeks, breaking the world record, 1,500 meters, 5,000 meters. Very early. She's looking fantastically well. Varholm is back. Two sub. What is it? 46.7, 46.5. Excellent shape. He looks like he's ready again to do something significant this year. Missed out with injury last year, even though he came back, but he wasn't anywhere close to his best. So we'll see. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about 4 hurdles in a second, because that Jamaican kid is doing something special there as well. It's not quite at that level yet, but no one is saying he should be. But what he's done to break the world junior record is special. So we'll talk about that as well. I definitely give us a like. Put your stuff in the chat. I'm certainly wanting to talk about anything you also want to talk about, and what's impressed you the most so far. Yeah, Mora is looking good this year as well from the Kenyan. Ulamar is back. Ulamar sparingly jumping this season, and gives us a 15 meter. If you don't get a 15 meter and change from Ulamar, you wonder something is going wrong. So Ulamar Rojas looking really good as well. So a lot of performances. Keely Hutchinson, I thought, looked really well earlier this season as well. Running out of British trials this week as also. And those performances are the standout. Yeah, shout out to Ryan Krauser as well. But now we're in the thick of things. So for those athletes who don't have an automatic qualification to the World Championship via defending championship status or through the Diamond League, you have to make the team. And it's been a tough year for a number of athletes. Some serious big names with significant injury, like Elaine Thompson here, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. We haven't seen Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. She'll hopefully run later. I mean, she's one of those athletes who had an automatic bid to the World Championship, so she can manage her season professional as well. So we can get into that. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate everyone with the track and field today. So And yeah, Alison DeSantis is out, but word on the street is that he'll be back in time for just before the World Championship. So we'll see. And then you have some athletes who are out. Brittany Anderson's out for injury as well. Shawnee Miller-Weibo because of giving birth. But to our surprise, Shawnee was competing over the heptathlon at the Bahamian National Trials, and I was like, "Didn't you just give birth?" And so that's a special athlete there. Clearly, I mean, I think I saw something where she was talking. They were talking about she was trying to support her sister. But if she's back on the track already, if she's back working out that quickly after giving birth, then we are in for a treat. Shawnee can come. She has 6 weeks if she wants to get to that World Championships. It would be good to see her, but not expecting much. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you on the channel. And yeah, I'm talking some track and field. And so those are the kind of my summation of what's happening so far. But I think we have to start with the earthquake, the elephant in the room, whatever however you want to talk about it. And we have to go straight to the woman of the moment, and that's Shericka Jackson. 10.65 seconds. I'm telling you, she's not playing around. That was something to behold last night. Extremely special. The start was lovely, much better than you would anticipate. Acceleration when she got into top end speed. I mean, there's no competition there. No one was that close to her. And she cruised at the end. 6 weeks to go, 10.6 at this stage. You tell me how fast you think she can go. And so we're looking forward to that. But it's one of those things where in the last couple of days, people are toying around with who is the fastest woman in the world, because Sha'Carri Richardson looking very good, and I'll get to Sha'Carri as well. Did a 2:10.7s in Eugene, eventually winning the national title, the U.S. national title in 10:82. But she's in fantastic form this season as well. Seems much more focused. I think her quote is that, and I'll read it out in a second. I think it's something about "I'm back" or something like that, or and so Sha'Carri gets the world lead, and in less than 24 hours, Shericka Jackson responds and takes the world lead 10.6, moving her up fifth. I think she's tied with the disgraced Marion Jones, but looking very good, and there's a lot more to come. There's no question about that. We know the kind of preparation that she goes on and yeah, it's just amazing. So I appreciate everyone in the channel. I mean, I don't know if I'm seeing any comments. If you're giving me a comment and I'm not seeing it, then maybe I might be running some technical stuff. But feel free to drop your comments. I get it up on the channel. Your questions, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm at the stage where I'm still trying to process the 10.65 from Shericka by herself, looking really good. There's a lot more there. Imagine what kind of peak form she'll be in a couple of weeks when they taper off really well. There's all these science on how long you can hold a peak. You can definitely hold a peak for more than 6 weeks. I don't think she's at her very best as yet, but I don't know the program, but that's what we're seeing here. And so she is there. What can we say? I think she's also a bit critical in the post-race interview of some elements of the race. But, when you're in 10.65, there's not much we can say, right? And there are some things that she'll fix. But I'm certainly happy to see that she's gotten past that 10.7. And it's the next level of a barrier there. And we have to think she starts favorite at this moment if you had to do it in Budapest, right? Sha'Carri Richardson as well. You have to think Sha'Carri will be on the medal table and so on. Yeah. Hey, Imran, how you doing? When we were talking West Indies, I think I actually have to do another live about West Indies. We can probably talk about it. It's good to see you. I have a couple of videos up on West Indies cricket. There's a new video right now on the channel. Hopefully you get a chance to check it out. I also I'm probably dropping a podcast on the channel as well, in which I did cover again some West Indies cricket. So My producer is working on that stuff to put it out. So once that is out, we'll definitely, hopefully, you can get a chance to kind of comment on that. But yeah, I need to do a live about West Indies cricket as well. I've been struggling to kind of think through what's going on because I'm very hurt about it. But yeah, tonight I just want to, for the next period, I just want to touch on some track and field. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your need for some cricket. I'm definitely gonna do some more live shows and hopefully some shows that will allow for multiple sports, so we can talk about multiple sports as well. So yeah, appreciate you. I hope you're doing well there in Trinidad. Yeah, so Shericka, lovely, lovely, lovely. It's gonna be impressive there. I think she starts favorite. I gotta think at this stage, barring any kind of injury, barring any kind of anything, you think Richardson will be on the podium as well, and she'll be fighting for a medal. And we get to the United States Championships performance in a second as well. But yeah, I think it's important to just reflect on it. We don't know what Shelley Fraser Price will bring yet, and that's a star right there. That's a woman that can walk up and, as long as she's healthy, and perform. There's no understanding anything for Shelley Fraser Price, and so hopefully we'll see. We'll get to see where she is. She'll be running the 200 meters at the Jamaica National Trials, and at her stage of her career, they're managing it well, and I'm hoping that she's back to full fitness and by now, and when we get to Budapest, I think she might be there in good form. Also, shout out to the other Jamaican women that made the team. A bit of some surprises there. I mean, well, not necessarily that major surprise, but Sasha Lee Forbes is there. Natasha Morrison looking really good. You would have hoped for the likes of Elaine Thompson to squeak in, but she's been struggling, right? And there's not much we can do about that, right? So we wish Elaine the very best. Yeah, I don't really have much of an analysis on Elaine right now. We knew she's suffering with some injuries. I don't know when the injury started. We did see that early season 400 meters, and she wasn't looking at her best, and she was really running something that indicated that maybe the background training wasn't going as well as you wanted to, and clearly they've stated that she's struggling from something. Managed to come back a couple of weeks ago or so and run an 11.2, and then it was always going to be an uphill battle for her to come back and run the kind of times necessary to get into the championship. And you see there's no real top end speed the way she has it. It's not there right now. She's struggling, right? She's not separating. Her sprint form still looks good, but she probably is one of the most beautiful sprinters to watch ever, maybe the most beautiful. People can argue about that. And so yeah, I think it's one of those things. I see you. I see you want that cricket, Imran. I don't know about what Prime Minister Keith Rowley will be doing, and I probably have to do a show for you. I know, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's the first time in our history. Yeah, go check out those videos that I have on the channel for sure. You may have watched them already, but I dropped a video today on West Indies cricket, so I'll appreciate your comments on that, your thoughts about it. Yeah, I think Sri Lanka will win tomorrow. Right? I mean, they've been looking really good, so I don't know. It's just kind of a sad situation. But yeah, back to the track and field. So hopefully Elaine can regain some fitness. She is eligible for the relay squad, and so with her experience, with her, you would hope that she would go to the World Championships, assuming that she's not running significantly hurt and she's not calling it the end of the season. So I'm hoping that it's just a matter that she's might be back and just lack the necessary fitness and the preparation in order to do something. So I don't know. I mean, there's not much time but now until the World Championships. But she's not definitely not going to run an individual event, at least not the individual 100 meters. And so hopefully she can, finish the season healthy and get herself ready in time for the Paris Olympics. She is Miss Olympian, right? Back to back at the world, back to back at the Olympics over 100, 200 meters. I mean, she has an ability there. She has an opportunity there if she's fit and to try and do the double again, which is extremely hard. And so I wish her a speedy recovery in whatever challenges. I hope they can sort it out. Whatever medical team, coaching staff, I hope they can fix that. I mean, otherwise, it's going to be hard. But that's part of the sport. Managing injuries and so on. So yeah, that's the women 100 meters. I saw Brianna Williams there as well. Not having the greatest of season, had some setback, almost getting in the mix again for a relay medal and a relay squad rather. So we'll see. So that's that. Let's turn attention a little bit to the women's 100 meters at the USA Track and Field Championships there in Oregon. That there, Sha'Carri Richardson, fantastic season so far. One of the standouts, I would say the three standouts now, obviously. Shericka Jackson, Sha'Carri, we say Marie Jose Talu, who's been looking really well. And Talu is kind of a woman that shows up at a major event and give of her best. She knows how to be at her best. Unfortunate over the years not to be picking up some medals, but that's how it is. And so Sha'Carri looked good. And congratulations to Brittany Brown. I don't know how many people would have had her on their list for her to qualify for the national trials, and Tamara Davis. Both of them will be running for the United States, and it's also sad to see that Aliyah Hobbs didn't really go far, because it's just such a fantastic indoor season rather. And when you see an athlete who you thought this year would have stepped up and didn't get a chance to perform, I think she's probably suffering some injuries again. They haven't. I haven't seen the full details on that either, and I should reach out to some people to find out what's going on there. But I mean, it's sad to see, because I thought Hobbs would have been really good this year, and clearly she's not at her best, because I think she's definitely an athlete that can run a 10.8 and so on, and we just didn't see it. So unfortunate for her, but the U.S. women, those three will round it off, and you have to think much of the medal, if any U.S. athlete will be medaling, all things being equal, then it might only be Sha'Carri Richardson. So we'll see. And this will be our first time representing the United States at the World Championship. It's our second time crossing the line, first at a major U.S. trials. We all know what happened in 2021, but as she said, she is ready. She's I was trying to find a quote again. I think I had a quote somewhere over here. She says, "I'm not back, I'm better." That's the word, and so, she has a sense, or style, or is something that transcends the sport for whatever reason. She's loved beyond the sport, or she is also known beyond the sport. And so you want track and field athletes to transcend the sport. I talk about this a lot, but you also want track and field athletes that are household names to be ones that have the medals, have the times. Now she's getting back the times. Now we'll see if she can get the medals, but you have to earn those. So we'll see. All right, let's go quickly to the 100 meters and talk about. I'll start with the Jamaica 100 meter championship. I was very pleased. I'll talk about the surprises here, of course, but I was very pleased to see a new set of guys coming in running sub 10, right? That guy Kishane. Eventually we get this win from Rohan Watson. Raheem Ford, both of them running sub 10. And so I go into this championship, and I think most people would have said the bulk of the running would be coming from the likes of Oblique Seville and Akeem Blake. And one of those guys will not line up in the individual event. So Seville sneaks in, gets a 10 flat in the final. Blake 10.01, 10.01 rather. And I didn't see that coming. I thought, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there running really well, and so I know and you got to give credit where credit is due. Stephen Francis, MVP, Paul Francis, whoever's doing all the work up there. A new set of guys coming in. It's good to see Michael Campbell back again. We all know his history in terms of his super talented. Had some unfortunate accident injuries some years back. Even Taekwondo Tracy was coming back. So there's a bunch of guys this season that have gone sub 10, including both Blake and Seville. So I think about this and I say, if these guys are healthy, the Jamaicans, if they can get some good baton practicing going on, should be able to challenge for a medal in the 4x100 meters. And that's not something we have done in a while. And so I think quite fittingly, there's a new set of guys coming, emerging. And in what is an interesting thing, I mean, many of you may have been watching, and thanks for joining me. I'm talking track and field this evening, and we'll get to any of the questions, comments that you have. The likes of a Johan Blake, who false started, did a bout of protesting, which I wasn't quite sure why he was doing that. And I still don't understand why he was allowed to run by himself, which ultimately didn't get the time that was required to advance. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. I was also shocked to see Fort also false starting, because I thought he was looking a little bit better this season as well. And so there's a number of athletes in the mix now that are sub 10, not really way down there. A couple of them ability to go 9.8s. We know there's that. We know Seville was so struggling with something. And I thought Seville would have been in much better shape at these championships. At least some of the journalists were saying this, some of the people I speak to. And especially when you made that contrast to what Zarnell Hughes is doing, and he should be running not a few minutes, I guess, or so. He had a easy qualification earlier, and people saying Seville in better shape than Zarnell Hughes. So maybe he's not, or maybe something is going on there. And so, but I'm quite pleased that the Jamaican men are edging into that kind of time. And hopefully for these youngsters, there are these guys, or we're calling them youngsters, people, these emerging crop of new athletes, then they'll be able to get on the circuit a little bit and prepare and go to the World Championships, experience what that it is, and hopefully, get a couple Jamaicans in the final, and who knows what can happen. We know Seville has been to the final last year. He came fourth. His trajectory is on the rise, barring a couple of injuries here and there, and hopefully those injuries haven't set him back too much, and that he will be in a position to challenge for a medal, because I think medals are open at this World Championships. I think in the 100 meters, it's not particularly secure. I guess many people would probably say Fred Curley will start favorite, and rightly so. But we'll have to see some more Fred. Kristen Coleman doesn't look as great as I thought he would have. He's still struggling to get back. There's a Noah Lyles in the mix. But I want to transition quickly and talk about this new kid. Cravon Charleston takes the 100-meter title. I've seen him a couple of times, but I wouldn't put any money that he would have been anywhere close to winning the national championship there. I thought maybe after the semifinal run, he could have gotten on the team, but to win. And so I was also surprised by the times these guys are running. Like at the US, I thought for the life of me, Coleman would be running a bit faster, and he didn't. So I, yeah, yeah. See you, Imran. Yeah, when I'll do a live for West Indies for sure. Sorry, and then when I do some cricket lives, I'll definitely have you come back on, and I'll put it out there. Appreciate you on the channel though. Yeah, and so Noah Lyles, Coleman, and this new kid Charleston will represent the United States along with Fred Curley. There's a lot of interesting surprises as well at the U.S. men's. Marvin Bracey out, seems like he's struggling with something. What's the 400-meter kid? His name is slipping me. Michael Norman didn't make it far, and then to see Trevor Burmell with what clearly is some kind of an injury. He's struggling. Feel it for him as well. You just never want to see athletes hurt, but that's part of the sport, and hopefully he can recover. And so the US are sending some people to the championships. I think Noah Lyles is happy to make the team because he's at that stage in his development where he wants to do the double, and now he legitimately can do the double. He has a lot of work to do if he's going to be competitive over 100 meters. We know once he gets to get into his running, he'll be fine, but you can't allow these guys to get away from you, right? So where is his ceiling? Can he get to a 9.8 come Eugene? Can he get lower than that? And how much running will he need to do to get anywhere close to being on the medal podium in Budapest? And I put it to you, which it would be a challenge, especially with a start that's really unpredictable for him. And he's also wanting to take down the world record, which I still think is way, way out there. Maybe he could try and take down that 1926 from Johan Blake, which is still a ways off, but it's not impossible. What is always, and I repeat myself, I know people who've been on the channel, my good friend All in the Game will say it to everybody who understands the sport, those boat records are done under serious challenge, right? He's done them on the rounds. He's not picked up a night in Zurich or Lausanne or Paris and knocked them out. And anybody can knock out a world record. Not anybody, but if you're in that kind of shape, I think Niles can go much quicker on an easy night. But if you do rounds of the 100 meters, then come back and do rounds of 200 meters, are you in that kind of shape to put an assault on the world record? And yeah, but I wish him well. I mean, I think he's a character. He's good for the sport. Track and field is, unfortunately, one of those kind of sports where we need a lot more visibility. And I see he has a documentary coming up with a partnership with NBC. So we'll see. This whole track and field thing is another story, right? Imagine for the first time in the history of, well, the first time since NBC has taken the reins for exclusive broadcast rights of US track and field, they're not putting it on the main channel. And so that's a lot of potential eyes that could be exposed to the sport. There's a serious problem, and I know I'm digressing because I always say this, but it hurts me to see that I know I have access to it, but I'm not the one you're targeting. People who follow track and field aren't the ones you should be targeting the sport only to, right? They'll find it. They'll get on Peacock. They'll get on this. They'll buy the subscriptions to wherever. That's what we do. But if you want to expose the sport to a new generation, a bunch of kids all around the country and so on, you have to do a better job there. And I think USA track and field is in problems. World athletics is in problems. Everybody, the marketing of track and field, even in Jamaica, so I'm watching that stuff. I mean, it's just like it's for it to be the national sport. The stadium isn't filled. I mean, and I understand there's economic reasons for that as well, but it's not where we expect it to be or want it to be, and there's a lot of marketing issues as well. So yeah, that's one thing there. So 100 meters for US is also there. I think, but I'm happy. I think I was more impressed with what I saw the Jamaica national trials over 100 meters for men. And let's hope Watson, Ford, and Seville can get better. Blake as well. He must be reeling. So, considering that he's the fastest Jamaican of the year, I believe, right? He should be. I'll, make sure I check my numbers so I don't. Yeah, he's like fourth. He's the fourth fastest guy in the world this year with that at the 10:89, and so you would have anticipated that he would be coming and running much faster. So I don't know, and I don't know if he's carrying something. I didn't read anything or hear anything about a knock. So we shall see. But yeah, that's what's been happening there. Let's talk a little bit about Varham again, because I think that guy is just ridiculous. Varham, 46.76. If you watch that race at the Norwegian national trials, you would have been. It looks like men against boys, well, also because there's nobody in the same kind of mix. But even if you were in the kind of mix of running what we would think as great times in 400 meters in the 48 lows, sub 48, you still won't be in the picture when it comes to a Carson Varham. And it's good to see that the Viking is back in full force right now. Odds-on favorite for me, overwhelming favorite for me to win the gold medal in Budapest. And I don't know what DeSantis will do. There's word on the street that he'll be back. But if you're not running, if you're not in the kind of shape, I don't think you can compete with him. What happened to Rai Benjamin as well, we have to see. But while we're on this matter of a 400-meter hurdles, I want to spend a little bit of time as well talking about this rising sensation coming out of Jamaica, Rashawn Clark. What a talent. Clark steps up and he runs what? 48 something in the semifinals, and he comes back and he runs 47.85, which equals the world record for the world junior record, I think. And he's a special talent. The kid is what, 19? Is he 19? He's 19. It's world junior record. He's now become the second fastest Jamaican over the 400-meter hurdles. Only the great Winthrop Graham have gone faster. I remember Graham, Graham who would have picked up medals behind Kevin Young at 92 Olympics. I watched that vividly. The great Kevin Young as well, whose, as we know, record stood for such a long time until Varham destroyed it and destroyed it again. And so you look at a Rashawn Clark who, when you look at his structure and you say to yourself, this guy is nowhere a big man yet, right? He could have gone back to high school this year. He could have gone back and run. But he's running with the big boys, and he destroys Jahil Hyde, his former training partner. Hyde runs what, 48.45, which is an excellent time as well, and you only wonder where the ceiling is, right? I have no problem with Hyde running 48.45. You would think coming into the Jamaica trials, given our depth, that would be good. Asini Wilson as well at 48.50. So it's good to see these three guys there. And I'm really chuffed for Clark because the kid has tremendous upside. He ran some good 400 meters earlier this year as well. And now to see him run 47.85, hitting a hurdle 10, stumbling a bit, regaining composure. I just hope that he just continues from strength to strength, that Now he'll get a couple, probably get a couple races or so on the circuit. Maybe line up the guy in a Diamond League. Line him up in a Diamond League. What is he? Third fastest in the world this year? Is he? Let me, I always don't want to make mistakes online, but I think he might be the third fastest in the year this year. I mean, obviously Varham has run 4-6 twice this year, I think, and yeah, let's see where he is. No, he's fourth fastest. So it's Varham, CJ Allen, which I think he's looking good for. He's at a 4.75. Benjamin had a 4.77 as well, and so the kid. Hopefully, the kid can adapt. He seems fearless. You remember you seen him at Carifta Games some years ago. I think he won the Austin Sealy Award, and this year or whatever. And he's effortless. I think there's a lot to learn, a lot of strength that he will need to gain, and so so Steve is saying they have to test him fast for his time. Oh, right. Yeah, so they should. I know what you're saying here. You mean the protocols to ratify the world champion to ratify the world record. For those of you who don't know, and once someone breaks a record, World Athletics stipulates that they be tested. I would think, given what happened, was it last year? Last year, the year before, in Jamaica, when the Jamaican under-20 girls destroyed the world record, and the world record was not ratified because they did not test all of them, and that became a scandal. I would think that they would figure out they'll have to act together. I know there was a report. I don't know if anybody got fired. I still don't know why people didn't get fired for that, but I'm not trying to get people out of their jobs, but it seems like just an egregious kind of mistake to make. There, like, you shouldn't make that mistake. And fortunately, the Jamaican women again had gone back and broke the world record, under 20 world record, and so they got the world record in the end. But yeah, so you would think that they drug tested him, and all of this is now subject to ratification. But how fast do you think this kid can go? I don't, this is, I always try not to do this, but he seems like a special talent. Here's my hope for him, instead of thinking about how fast, because he's gonna go to his first major championship. It's in Budapest. He has to adapt to what it means to travel there. Obviously, he's traveled before as a junior athlete. Hopefully, they can get him in a Diamond League before, or one of those continental tours. Get him acclimatized. He has to go over there, and I think what he should really focus on is soaking it in and thinking about doing his best. And by every indication, you'd hope that he can make it into the final. I think he has the ability to do that based off what I'm seeing right now. And so if he can run through, get as far as he can, there's no pressure on the kid. But I know based on how he speaks and so on, I think he really is determined to showcase, and he's clearly working hard. And so I wish him the very best. But Clark, special talent. That's another one coming out of Jamaica, and the bar for 400-meter hurdles is just ridiculous now. You got those guys at the top and other people coming like Allen and so on. So, but if he's a 19-year-old kid and he's run the fastest time a junior's ever run, then I think we're looking at a talent, if managed well, will only get better. And I wish him the very best. Keep his head on his body, and obviously no injuries, and then he should be fine. But that was really special to watch. Really, really special to watch. Yeah. I mean, also I was even the women's 400-meter hurdles look really well. Genevieve Russell with a 53.75. There was good running there. Good running there. I think that might be top 5 in the year as well. So Rochelle Clayton, Knight as well. So I appreciate that some of those things that the 400 hurdles are there. We all know where the 400-meter hurdles women are now. It's you look at a 53.7 or a 53 low, and you think it looks ordinary today, and that's really bad. But we've seen what Sydney McLaughlin has done to put it in a different stratosphere. I don't know if I doubt she's running in it at the World Championships. We'll see. But I think Femke is odds-on favorite, and I think she'll run 51 and 51 low probably. Her season this year has been stellar. Bol has run a lot. She's run a lot of 400s as well. Indoor, great background training. I believe she was in South Africa for background training. And I think she will win it. I mean, as long as Sydney doesn't run, and I don't think Sydney will run. Sydney is looking good. She'll face off later on in the final at the U.S. Championships. Bobby Kersey doesn't play. We saw Sydney first on the Diamond League, kind of misjudged the race in that race with Paulina. But hopefully we'll see what happens. I think Sydney has the ability to run 48 and even lower, but that will take time as she understands what it means and managing the race in this way. But she's also a very special talent. So yeah, the women are back, and hopefully the Jamaican women can do some stuff there. But if you're thinking about 400-meter hurdles, it's not an easy thing to. If you're not running 52s and 51s now, it looks tough, right? And I don't know where we are. I mean, I'm reflecting on what we've seen in the past, and we have to rewrite everything. But Femke is at 52.3. I know she's gonna run 51. Britton Wilson is also at 53 lows, and same for Shamar Little, and now Genevieve Russell is up in the mix. So it's possible, it's really possible to get into the mix with a low 52s or even a low 50, with a mid 52s, low 53. I remember, I just can't imagine where this is now. I'm thinking back to the 90s, 2000s, and we used to marvel at sub 53 because not many women could do that. And now it's at a different level. So it's all for Femke to win, because I think Sydney will run 400 meters. So yeah, so that's where we are. I mean, I'm seeing some fantastic stuff happening at the trials. I'm hoping that I'm going to go back and watch some stuff later. I want to see what Zarnell Hughes and Reese Prescott. I don't know if they've actually run since the time I've been on air. I should check that out real quickly. I don't know if anybody can tell me. Yeah, Dina Asher-Smith won the women's title for the women just now. I think she won 11:06.2 win. So I think second was Bianca Williams came third, and I don't really know how to pronounce Imani's last name. I think it's not pronounced the way it is. And so I might be waiting. I haven't seen the race. Yeah, Zarnell Hughes wins. He also won the thing 15 minutes ago. Or 20 minutes ago while I was on air. And so he won in 10.03. But it's looked like a hurricane there in terms of rain coming down. I mean, how is that? Where is the wind coming from? Look at that. Maybe that looks like he may have been running into a headwind, but the visibility is poor there. Reese Prescott second in 10.14, and Dadzi in third 10.18. So Zarnell Hughes continuing his stellar performances so far this season. World lead. He looks good. Let's see if he's in the kind of mental shape to move forward. We know for a while he was false starting a lot. And yeah, so you have to think Hughes is in the mix to be on the medal podium come Budapest. Yeah, so I missed that while I was out on doing this live. But I really appreciate everybody for joining me. What have you been excited for? What you want to see later? And I really want to see what Sydney can do later on in the 400 meters. Yeah. Steve, I didn't see that. Yeah. Ooh. Zarnell Hughes could even surprise Noah Lyles in the 200 meters. You think? I don't know. I mean, I can't see that. To be honest with you, that is hard to see because we're talking about a 19.3 guy. We're talking about. I just don't see that. I don't think anybody can challenge a fit Lyles. I mean, I have to see what Zarnell can do, but I don't know if he can. Yeah, I don't know if he's in that kind of shape, right? Like, we'll see. We'll see. Unless there's some stuff, some inside information you have that I haven't seen, but I that I don't know. I don't think anybody can come close to him. The guys who I always say, I always say a guy like Andre DeGrasse, but clearly he's not in the right shape. And usually DeGrasse, he will pop up at a major championship and do something very spectacular. He didn't do that last year, but I don't know I don't think he's in any great shape. I think right now in the 200 meters, he's out there, right? He's out there unless Aaron can do something. Maybe let's see Tibogo. But those guys are still, I think, a meter or two behind Noah Lyles, a fit Noah Lyles. And you have to think going into this year, Noah might be starting much quicker over the 200 meters, especially he's trying to focus on this double. And now he's gotten the chance to represent the United States in the double. So we'll see. But yeah, I'd be, if that happens, I'll be shocked. Like I'll be really shocked, to be honest with you. I just don't see. I don't see anybody challenging Noah right now. It's to me like Faith Kipyegon. No one is challenging her. Jakob Ingebrigtsen looks really good too. Yeah, so I'm wondering if he as well can do something special over the 5,000 meters, over 1,500 meters rather. Yeah, Germa. There's some guys out there this year that looks really good. Even Krauser breaks the world record again. It hasn't looked as great in the last couple of rounds for his standards, but I think those are some easy wins. Ulamar. I'm putting Lyles in that kind of category over 200 meters. I just don't see how you are competitive against that kind of a guy. Not right now. I'm not seeing it. I'd love to be proved wrong on this in the sense that if people can come closer to Lyles, then it's good for the sport. And I think we'll see what Arian does and how far he can take it. Yeah, I know Fred Curley won't. Fred clearly has issues running the curve. He has issues running around that stuff, and that, for the sake of his ability to stay healthy, I don't think he will test that out as well. I appreciate everybody coming on the channel. I wanted to come talk some track and field. Super impressed with what I saw last night from Shericka Jackson. I want to see what she does over 200 meters in the coming weeks. I think the preparation that they'll have for Shericka Jackson will be second to none. In terms of they will have her already. Imagine what will happen in a few weeks, and she starts favorites right now. We'll see what Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce does and others, and if Sha'Carri can do anything. But Jackson right now for the money, and we'll see. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're joining on a rebroadcast, put your comments there. I'll get to them. And, check out my other videos on the channel as well. And I'll probably be back later on. Hopefully, we'll see. Enjoy watching track and field today. Enjoy watching sports. I'll be at the Jamaica-Guatemala game tomorrow in Cincinnati, Ohio in the Gold Cup. I got tickets for those. So, if you're going to be there, holla at a boy. I'll see you. Take care.